Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I wanted to take a few minutes this evening to go over kind of how I use the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission's public access atlas to find public hunting land in the state. There's a couple things on the public access atlas that are kind of weird. I wanted to show people how I use them just so if they're having trouble with it, it's kind of a walkthrough of how to be able to see and use the maps more efficiently. So if you go to the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission website and click on guides and maps right here and click on public access atlas, and then click view interactive map. After you click on the view interactive map button, this screen's going to pop up. There's a disclaimer that says basically use this site at your own risk. You can click on OK. Then I'm using a mouse, so I can use the roller to zoom in and zoom out. I'm actually going to close this. That pops up automatically. So that's these three little lines, just tells you what everything is. What every color is, it's just a legend. I'm actually going to zoom into this little corner right here by Indian Cave State Park. The reason I'm zooming in on this little corner is there's a state park right here, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers property right here, a wildlife management area, and then some open fields and waters properties. That's these orange ones right here. A couple of buttons that you're definitely going to want to use when you're using this site is this little base map gallery. It's the little Foursquare icon right here. If you click on that, it's going to give you all of your choices of maps that you can look at. There's a bunch of maps in there. I don't really know why hunters and outdoors people would want to look at them, but I suppose it is a bonus to the site that there's a bunch of different images that you can upload. The one that I use the most is this Firefly imagery hybrid. That's basically a aerial photo. So that helps show like fields, woods, creeks, terraces. The other one that I use the most, well, there's actually two of them that I use also. These two topo maps right here. The first one is just kind of a plain topo map, just gives you a look at everything without. The reason I use this one is you get a look at everything without a bunch of other stuff on the map. Then I also like to use this USA topo map. This is a little more detailed map. Just helps you be able to pick out draws, little finger draws that come off of it, benches, shelves. Just helps you figure out the topography of the land that you're trying to hunt. So, like someone can tell some of this stuff in here is really steep. Okay. I'm going to switch back to this map. This is where I start with most of the hunting properties that I look at. The problem with this website sometimes is the color of these shaded areas is too dark when you first get here. When you first get to this website, all of them are going to be opaque. You're not going to be able to see through any of them. So what you actually need to do is go to this little 3-stack icon. It's a layers icon. And then you have to go by the lands that you're looking at. These yellow lands are open fields and waters lands. So you have to go to the OFW contracts tab, click on the 3 dots, go to transparency, and then slide this slider. You can go from opaque to transparent. So you can go all the way to 100%, make it all completely disappear. That's not really helpful when you're trying to figure out what's contained in the land you're going to hunt. I usually try and set it to about 60%. I've already adjusted that one a little bit. But when you do that, it's going to adjust all of the open fields and waters properties that way, so you can actually see through them now. Now you can see the woods, you can see the field edges, you can see the roads, you can see your access points, you can see parking lots. There's a little parking spot on this property right there. There's actually a little parking spot right here on this property. So when you want to see your state lands like wildlife management areas and state parks, that's all going to be all these state land properties. If you click on the 3 dots right there, click on transparency, that's going to adjust the transparency of those properties. See the wildlife management right here now. Wildlife management area right here now is bold. I'm going to set that to like 60%, and then you can see through that one. If you want to do the Army Corps of Engineers properties, that's going to be a different tab. You're going to have to go to the Federal Lands tab, click the transparency on that, and take that to about 60%. The reason I like 60% is it's dark enough that I can see what's outlined in the property. I don't lose the property edges, but it's light enough for me to see through it, so I can see if there's a field I want to try and hunt. If I'm going to scout this Langdon Bend property for the first time I've ever been there, I try and break off a little portion of the property and say, okay, I'm going to come in right here. I'm going to follow this field edge up till I get to this field edge, and then I'm going to work my way back down. I'm going to see what these woods look like. And I just take a little screenshot on my phone of that little area, and then I try and figure out how to scout that little area effectively. That's a huge property. So you can also click on these properties. If you just left click on them, it'll tell you some of the information about the property, the name, how many acres it is, who owns it, what species you can hunt on it, and any other like regulations or information. So. And if you click on these open fields and waters sites, it actually gives you a site number. That's 5322. That's 5306. That's 5323. That's 5307. So I don't know if you're as diligent as I am about anytime I go to a piece of public hunting land or private hunting land, I send a text to my wife. Like, if I was going to go hunting right here in the morning tomorrow, I would send her a text when I got there, like walking into Open Fields and Water site 5314. And then I send her a text when I'm on my way out. So if something ever happens, she at least has an area to give to somebody so they can go in and look for me if I have a medical emergency or something, or get bit by a rattlesnake, or I always try and tell her about how long I'm going to be gone and about when I expect to be walking out. That doesn't always work out. Sometimes I get out there and I don't have service on my phone and the hunting's good and I stay a little later than I should, or I'm scouting and I stay a little later. But as soon as I get to a spot with service, I shoot her an update. So it's just a good habit to get into, of letting people know where you're going to be and how long you're going to be there. That way, if something ever does go wrong, just, most likely you won't have to stay the night there. Just wanted to take a few minutes, show everybody a couple of the tricks that I use on this website to make it a little more functional. I'm sure that the more people play with this, the more they'll figure out. They would have figured this out, but it's just faster if somebody just shows you how to do it. So it took me about 15 or 20 minutes of playing around with it till I figured out exactly how to get to what I wanted to see, and just figured if I could save people some of that time of trying to learn it, that's what I could do to help them out. So hope you can take some of these little tips, search some of this public hunting land in the state. There's a ton of it. There's a ton of acres of public land in the state. So hope you can find a piece of public land to go hunt this fall or next spring during turkey season and get a chance to harvest an animal. So as always, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos, and thanks for watching.